Hello everybody, my name is Jamal W. Child. I am a medically retired Army veteran at 100%. TV show is to educate the veterans, the general public, and family members on how to navigate the Veterans Benefits Administration and Health Administration of Veterans Affairs. I'm presenting to the general public and the world Fort Dix, New Jersey in 1984. This is a graduation picture. So I'm letting the general public know that I have injuries and conditions from military service that are non-combat, mental health conditions and physical disabilities that are irreversible, incapacitating, and debilitating for life. It's approximately 16.5 million veterans in the United States of America, and most of us are not receiving our proper entitlements and benefits for our tour duty in the military, combat and non-combat. This big misconception that you had to be in combat to get your entitlements and benefits is not true. People need to understand how to educate themselves on how to navigate the Veterans Benefits Administration and Health Administration of Veterans Affairs for those ones that were in the United States Marines, United States Army, United States Coast Guard, United States Air Force, and United States Space Force. So we have 6 different branches of the military. All of us comes from occupational hazards. I need you people to listen. Whatever your occupation was in the military. Some people said, oh, well, that person wasn't in the service that long. I knew a guy that's 100% total impairment from an asthma attack in boot camp. He had an asthma attack in boot camp. He was in the hospital for 2 months and he got medically retired from the military. So we can compare in and we can compare out, but at the end of the day, it's all about how you educate yourself on your entitlements and your benefits. We want the general public to understand that we can overcome and adapt any situation when it's related to your military service and what you did to your body. Your whole body was in the military, not half of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate this. Your occupational hazards, whatever your job was. So some people might have had 5 jobs in the military. Some people might have had 6 jobs in the military. It depends on my MOS. I was a welder in the United States Army, but I also worked in the motor pool with a machinist, with a mechanic, and other people in the motor pool and the truck drivers. So we cross different jobs on a consistent basis. So if I didn't have a welding job, I end up working with the machinist, or you work with the mechanic, or you work with the truck drivers, painting vehicles, taking engines out of vehicles, putting gas tanks on new vehicles, manufacturing parts for vehicles and things of this nature. So it's occupational hazards. So one of my occupational hazards is hearing loss, flat feet, bilateral knee conditions, lower back conditions, shoulder condition, neck condition, and of course, the most traumatic one is PTSD related to a welding accident where I got burns on my upper and lower extremities from welding in the military. That means my uniform was on fire. I'm trying to give you a synopsis of what happened to me in the service. So when I was in the military in '84, nobody really went to a psychiatrist, psychologist, or therapist. They told you to suck it up and keep moving and adapt and overcome. So these traumatic events been with me for years. So one of my coping skills, I'm talking first person, was consuming alcohol to deal with the nightmares, night sweats, hypervigilance, irritation, and anger from the traumatic event of me and my uniform being on fire that burnt to my skin. So I got upper and lower extremities from this welding in the military. So it's not just one incident, it was several incidents, but one of them was more significant than the other. So we need to have an understanding of what happened to your body that you're still living, because service connections is related to occupational hazards. The VA does not pay for nothing else but trauma. Let's retrain our brains. No trauma, no money. It's not happening. I estimate at this present time the VA is allocated in 2024 $410 billion mandatory funding, advanced funding, Veterans Administration. So let's wholeheartedly have the conversation about what you need to do for yourself. As for me, I educated myself on how to navigate that system to get my benefits and entitlements, and it wasn't easy. When I first came through the system, they didn't have e-benefits, they didn't have va.gov, they didn't have all these different websites where you could look on, and My Healthy Vet, that you could look on and navigate these systems. You had to be hands-on a consistent basis. So that's basically what it was. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna repeat this. It's no one way to do this. You have to find a way to adapt and overcome. Go to your primary care doctors, your specialists, your mental health doctors, and address your in particular injuries, conditions, and disabilities related to your tour duty in the military. So you people understand, if you was in the Navy and you was on a ship and you was a boatswain mate, there's injuries to being a boatswain mate, there's injuries to being an electrician in the Navy, there's injuries from being in submarines. This stuff is broad and it can be astronomical, but at the end of the day, it's all about, like, I was in the Army, we road march. I got flat feet from road marching. I got hearing loss from shooting weapons on a consistent basis. So we didn't know that our eardrums bust when we was in there. They said, suck it up and keep it moving. There ain't nothing wrong with you. Then you accept that and indoctrinate it in your life, and then 30 years later, you wonder why you're a hot mess. So a lot of us use drugs and alcohol to cope with our mental health on a consistent basis because we don't have people to talk to vent to about how we feel, what happened to us, and what's going on with us in the present. Now, this is another thing. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand, if you have any problems, please call. You can talk to a veterans coordinator or a psychiatrist on the phone, and they will direct you, help you deal with your mental health conditions from being in the military. So a lot of people say, well, I don't have any mental health conditions. Nobody comes out the military unscathed. We want that big band-aid, like we the big tough guy, the big tough female, this, that, and the third. That's not true. The human body can endure a whole lot. And what you need to understand, the undue stress that you deal with those jobs in the military overlaps and causes other conditions. Anxiety can cause you to have anger. Anxiety can cause you to have sleep disturbance. Anxiety can cause you to be agitated. Anxiety can cause a condition called hypervigilance, where you are afraid of being around certain situations or people on a consistent basis, that you consistently focus on, you know, what's going on over there? Why is that noise over there? Why is this person working on me? These are legitimate situations. TV show is to educate the veterans, the general public, and family members on how to navigate the Veterans Benefits Administration and Health Administration of Veterans Affairs. I'm presenting to the general public and the world